Hey, Rhonda here. Have you ever heard that one saying that just says that every dream is impossible to get to if you have fear driving behind you? So my new saying today is any dream can be conquered as long as you know the steps and strategies to step into it so that you can have a full productive day, feel like you have the energy, learn how to lose weight strategically along with a flat belly. Well, that's what this is about. I've been coaching for over 15 years. So these strategies are set up so the healing starts right now instead of waiting till tomorrow. Have you ever told yourself, oh, I'll do that tomorrow? Well, not now. Let's get it going right now. In this 3-video series, Balance Your Blood Sugar to Flat Belly and Energy, you're going to learn why we all need to have our sugar levels balanced. I'll be sharing with you success stories that have their highs and their celebrations and also their struggles so that you really know what a real strategy looks like. And also I'm going to be sharing with you diagnostic tools so that you can sit back and really look at what's happening for yourself by really listening to your body and starting the healing process. So if you're a person that is struggling with eating sugar every day and not knowing how to get it out, you're in the right place. So let me tell you a quick story. When I was 21, I lived in the beautiful San Diego, right on the beach, had a beach house, and I should have been feeling vibrant and energy and having a great time. Well, I was a little bit here and there. But you know what was happening since I wasn't living a balanced lifestyle? I was barely sleeping. I really didn't have a really good head on my shoulders at that point. I felt very, very depressed quite a bit of time. And I didn't realize that the translation was happening, that I was not taking care of my body, so my body was slowing down and I wasn't feeling well. So I never really hit the first signs of what was going on. As I was going through my stages from 20 to 30, I started feeling more slow, feeling more anxiety. I even got to a point where if I'd put my hands above my head as I was washing my hair, that I'd actually get anxiety because I didn't have enough energy. So when I turned 30, I was diagnosed with hypothyroid. It brought me into the doctor. I was getting chest pains and I was not feeling well. And I knew something was wrong. And I finally got diagnosed with something. So before all that time, instead of really listening to myself and taking those steps to make some changes, I just didn't have the tools that I'm going to be talking about for the diagnostic tools in video 3. So as I took my medicine from 30 to 40, I was feeling very frustrated because the medicine that I was taking, sometimes it would work and sometimes it wouldn't. I had no idea why it wasn't working, and sometimes while I was still getting chest pains. So I went back to the doctor and she told me that there was nothing wrong with me at all. I looked at all the blood work and I saw I was right on the edge. Every test that she did, I was right on the edge, but not outside the box, but within normal. And so I went and talked to her and I said, I wanted to come here because I was not feeling well. And she said, what's wrong with you? The tests say that it's right. It doesn't matter. You're fine. And she kind of pushed me out of her office. Oh my gosh, did I feel embarrassed? I felt silly. I felt like there was something wrong with me. So as I turned 40, I started taking these steps where I was working with clients and I was starting to tell them, how I just didn't feel complete. At this time, I was taking care of myself pretty good at this point. And they said, well, I know this holistic doctor. So I went and saw him. When Dr. Teal saw me, he said right away, I know that you are feeling ill. There's no reason why you're making this up, so I need to find out what's going on. And he went through the whole process and he found out that I still was not balanced. Even though the blood test said that it was okay, the stuff that I was feeling is that my thyroid was still struggling. And so I started there. That was my beginning, and that's the information that I'm going to give you throughout this video series. I also learned as I was going along that I loved sugar and that the sugar was really affecting my body and the way I was feeling, because that was just always what I like to do. If you have anything where your body is slowing down, you're going to be craving that sugar because your body needs it for energy. And you're going to keep eating it until it doesn't help you much anymore. And then you may go into the caffeine, because the caffeine will give you that jump start. And then all of a sudden, just like being insulin resistant, all of a sudden you're caffeine resistant and you're drinking caffeine and you're like, caffeine doesn't mean anything to me at all because it doesn't really give you that jump start. So I want you to think about my story as I was going through my 20s, 30s, and 40s and how I was feeling, and that The tools that I'm going to teach you are going to really help you. But first, let's get into blood sugar and why we really need that balance. I'll catch you on the other side of this video. Welcome in, blood sugar balance to flat belly and energy. That's what this is all about, is knowing why are we not losing weight, or why is there a reason for our belly being bigger than what it normally is, and being able to connect that with energy too. So we're going to talk about if you're eating a lot of sugar and you're very concentrated in picking up foods that are more carbohydrates that really break down in your body easily. This is going to give you that shift and that understanding to how you can get there. We want to really open up the body so that blood is not so sticky, and so that we can increase the energy. And you know, the way that we're going to lose weight is understanding these facts. So let's get right to it. 10% of our population has been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, but others have not been yet. So they're thinking, like, from all the information that they know, about 33 billion people that have been diagnosed, and it is just getting bigger each year. Type 2 diabetes is a lifestyle disease and reversible. You're going to be able to understand that bold statement that I'm making by learning how to heal the body and really listen to the symptoms, and how you can start reversing things that you may have already done with the body where you're not getting enough energy. And we're going to really talk about that, how to bring back that energy and how to balance the hormonal system. Diabetes is the 7th leading cause for deaths annually. That means that if this is happening with the 7th leading cause, and with circulation not being so good, that you have double the chance of having a heart attack. So these two are very linked. Also, you can live with diabetes for 10 years before being diagnosed. So just us talking about craving the sugar and the symptoms that you're having, that, or some of them that are starting to happen, that it really makes you become aware so you can start your healing process. The cost of taking care of this chronic disease is $245 billion in total cost of diagnosed diabetes to diagnose it. So what that means is getting information to people so that they can understand what the symptoms are, so they can learn about that they may be getting closer to too much of a higher blood sugar, like 130, that's going to put them through the roof and make them start taking medicine. And if you have had your blood tested and you're around 90, that's okay. But once you start increasing past that, that's when you start becoming aware of like what's happening. Because once you start increasing and moving it forward, as we age, our body becomes more sensitive, and things can happen and accelerate way faster than they were when you were younger. So once you start getting past that 90 mark, that's when you start really becoming concerned. A doctor will tell you that at 110 that you're getting close and you need to be careful. But think about it. Keeping your body balanced and really focusing in on what's going to make you healthy. Also, 69 billion is reduced in productivity. So if you're feeling lethargic, if you're not healing as easily, so you're getting sick, then you're going to be affected by this number right here. You're going to be part of that number right there. Health consequences. So if the blood sugar is not balanced inside the body, you have blood vessels that are damaged because you have the blood that's a little bit stickier than normal. You have heart disease because the circulation is slowing down. Stroke, vision, all circulatory issues. And then you also have kidney failure because kidneys are what filters the body. And if the body's having issues, that's when you get kidney stones and your body becomes very, very ill in the kidney area. And the other component here is amputation. So if you come up here, you start noticing that slow healing. If something happens where you get cut and you're not healing as quickly as you used to, that's the beginning. And then the biggest stage is here in amputation, when you're really at that next level. I work with dental hygienists, and so we talk a lot about, what they're looking for when they're working on patients. So painful chewing their food. So if you have painful pain in your mouth while you're chewing your food, this is so important to think about. Difficulties and even tooth loss. We're talking circulation. Dry mouth because your hormone system is off, so your endocrine system. And then also because your circulation isn't as good. Thrush, against circulation and soreness, ulcers, infections, and tooth decay. Got to look for that. And then how this can affect your day is something of the main point I was talking about, that when the productivity is low and you're feeling like you're just not present in that day because you're just not feeling great. So you're overusing your organs, hazy in the head, hungry, quick, because you're eating those foods that are not healing your body, but you're just feeding more of the fuel that's really not doing any justice for your body at all. You're going to be reaching for more food, so it's easier to gain weight because there's not enough fiber and enough quality food that's coming in. Weight gain, also premature aging. What happens is when you are really aging quickly, it's because your skin is sticky and it really squeezes the skin together and you start getting those wrinkles very easily. Low energy, arthritis, joint pain, inflammation that happens, circulation that's not working very well, so you can't really get in there and really replenish with the white blood cells. Immune deficiency, and also been found to contribute to cancer, of course, because if your body is acidic and not in a healthy state, that's a direct connection with not feeling good with chronic disease. The one that I really wanted to focus in on is that it becomes a bad cycle and you feel emotionally that it is your fault. And truly, if you think about it, it's not. Today, the strategies that you're going to be learning is going to give you logical reason and how you can approach to make those adjustments. But what you're going to realize is that the way that you were raised, maybe you were just eating those types of foods, and that you just never changed towards, more of the healthier foods, or that also that your body physically is craving foods that have been the foods that you've eaten in the past. And so you think, well, why can't I lose the weight? Why don't I have that energy? I should have that energy. You start realizing that once you start adding a vegetable here and there, and you start not opening a package, but cutting up foods for prepping for your meals, you're going to notice a big shift in your energy, a big shift in your cravings. It makes a big difference. Just a nice little note here to just take a moment to breathe. You're going to roll your shoulders back, take a big inhale. We've gone through some really heavy stuff here, so I want to lighten it up a little bit. We're going to transition into, well, how are we going to heal the stuff that we were just talking about? So Shawn Achor is a motivational speaker that really talks about how you are not feeling good emotionally and the steps that you can do to get out of that. So he's a very inspirational person that's out there on the media circuit. That's wonderful to hear him speak and read his book. He has wonderful books. Happiness is not the belief that we don't need to change. It's the realization that we can. So taking that control, Shawn Achor talks a lot about that. And talking about taking control, I really want to share with you Michaela's journey, because it starts from not feeling good to a little seed in everything in daily life of realizing I need to make these changes. So Michaela was at size 22 pants size, and she's at 15, which I think she's changed now. It's been a while since we've taken stats. The biggest thing is that she's becoming more aware of what she's doing. She journals, really focuses in on her emotions, the types of food she's eating. She's right back in another cycle where she's starting to pick whole foods again, because she has her issues is that she's struggling with something that's quick, eating something that's quick and not really having the patience and not really spending a lot of time on cooking because she just hasn't had that experience. So she's getting in there and starting to cut the vegetables and starting to put food together. So it's wonderful to see. But she's learned a lot about portion control and then sabotages, telling herself that she couldn't do it, telling herself that this is just the way it is because she hasn't been feeling good since she was young. So, what's the big deal? Working out, getting the movement going. Also changing food choices like what I talked about. She's in the kitchen and connecting with committing to herself to a new improved way by being in the kitchen. Great stuff, Michaela. So let's go start moving ourselves up here. We kind of dug ourselves down into all these things that can happen. But I want you to be aware that there's no one specific diet for one person or for everybody. So everybody's digestive tract is almost like your your handprint. You know how it's unique? Well, the same thing with your digestion. So a lot of it is really listening and thinking about, how you're feeling. And when you're eating, how you feel after you ate. How you feel after 2 hours after you ate. And all of that is going to give you the knowledge that you already have, because your body is always giving you messages. So it's listening, and it's really taking the time and not allowing the chaos that happens throughout the day that gets us just stuck, feeling like we have no time for anything. I promise you, if you keep sticking with this, you're going to increase your energy, your mind is going to become more clear, and you're going to be able to get more things done. So your digestion, to understand that it's different than somebody else's. So somebody else in the household can eat tons of Oreo cookies and not gain weight, but you eat one and you already feel lethargic and feel terrible about yourself. So be aware of that. Also knowing that your health is really connected with how balanced your stomach is to be able to kill the bacteria that comes into your system. If we have stuff on our hands, that's the acid in there that really helps. And then as it goes into your digestive tract, all around there is your immunity. So you have your cleansing system, and you have the whole system that works with the hormones to release all the hormones to help you digest your food. So 70% of your immune system is around your digestive tract. Important to know that, so you have more control. Don't eat and run off in a hurry. That happens sometimes. And it's logical because we live in a very fast-paced world. But think about every meal. If you don't take time to chew your food until it's almost liquid, and if you don't allow the mucus to come in the saliva to come into your mouth to really chew because of maybe circulation issues, because you haven't really thought about it, so that hormone system hasn't released the saliva in your mouth, and then you start feeling like it's hard to swallow food. So all of that is related with a go-go mentality. So 5 steps to rid the body of sugar. I wanted to give you something to really hold on to, a list that you're going to be able to have that will help you with being able to find ways to do something right now, here, today. And this is going to be on your download with this video. If you're finding this video on YouTube, I want you to jump on over to the link that I have for you so that you can get in here and get the list. You want to reduce or eliminate caffeine. There's so many wonderful research and stories about how caffeine is good for you. The hardest part about caffeine is that it brings you up and it drops you down, and it brings you up and drops you down. I just had a client the other day tell me that she drinks caffeine all day long. So her body is so tired, and the reason why she's drinking the caffeine is to jumpstart it. Well, as she falls down, she's going to grab some sugar, unless she's in a habit just to get some more caffeine, but it has that fluctuation that makes your body crave sugar. Drink more water. When a client first starts working with me, that's the first thing I say is, how much water are you drinking? They say, oh, plenty. And then, so I have them add more, because usually we think we're drinking more water than we do. I know if I don't have water by me throughout the day, I'm not getting my water too. So I have to always remember to have the water by me because life gets busy. Also eating sweet vegetables and fruits. So right now we are in the winter, and this is the best time to be having those foods, those vegetables that are under the ground, all nuzzled, away from all of our cold and rain and snow, whatever's happening. So having it deep into the ground, what it does is it has a good calming sense as you're eating it, and your body really translates that, but it also gives you that sweetness. So you can add this little, all these root vegetables and put them in different foods so you have a little bit of a sweetness. And then get physically active. Get yourself moving. And the more that you get yourself out there, you're going to start feeling like you have the endorphin kick, that you're feeling like your circulation is better, that the sweat is going to be real important to you. And then get more sleep, rest, and relaxation. All of that, if you don't get that, really brings your body into a state of craving sugar because it needs to keep going. There's like 67% of us that are not getting enough sleep at night. So what happens is then you start having those issues of chronic disease where you're choosing the wrong foods and you're not feeling as well. The foods that are low on the glycemic index is the foods that are in your system that
translates into energy right away instead of sitting in your body. The longer that it sits in your body as sugar, the more it's going to affect and hurt your body. And I just heard a stat out there. I do follow Dr. Furman. He's one of the teachers that I had in my school. And he was talking about the glycemic index. And he was saying that, okay, from a Snickers to a bread, what is the one that's higher on the glycemic index? You know, what's the one that's going to really hurt us? And he said bread. And he said, because bread sits in the system longer, so that means that it can affect the sugar level in your brain, which means that you're going to be hazy in the head, not thinking straight. Your body's also going to have those surges. You know, have you ever had those surges where you just feel like that? It's like a feeling like your body's kind of doing a jump start, and you feel these surges around your chest area. And so you really want to know more about the glycemic index. But here is a list for you right now that will help you in these foods. If you are dealing with wanting to have sweetness, start eating these foods and it'll balance it. It's not a swap. We're talking about how to crowd out the food you're doing right now by adding these and really being able to start balancing your system. It'll make a big difference. So we're talking about oatmeal. We're talking about ground whole wheat pumpernickel bread. And then you can even do stuff with making muffins and using applesauce. You have sweet potatoes, you have yams, peas, lentils, carrots, and non-starchy vegetables. So that would be, if you love corn, well, step away from corn and start looking at these vegetables that are going to do more for you. And as we said, there's no diet or meal plan that exactly works for one person. That there's going to be a mixture based on what's working for you. So it's also taking a step back and listening to yourself. How are you feeling? So I want to leave you today. We're going to be having another video released in a couple days, but let's practice. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. Aristotle. So what we practice is what we get better at. So here is my support and big hug out to you to practice and get into the excellence, and that it will come little step at a time. Use your list, start implementing. I'll catch you when we are talking about case studies, and I'm going to tell you about their highs and lows so you can really understand that your journey is not always going to be easy, but what really made these people really successful and what are they still struggling with. And then we're going to also be talking about diagnostic tools. And how that's going to help you is being able to learn and listen to your body more. So I'll catch up with you. You have a fit day.
Hi, before you leave, I wanted to tell you, I hope that you really enjoyed watching the video. You learned a lot about blood sugar and what was happening out there, and so I hope that that inspired you to step in and take action. You're going to be getting recipes, so make sure you click the link below, and you're going to really focus in on how you're going to step into the strategies, and I'm ready to show you video 2, where you're going to be learning about case studies, and you're going to be stepping into diagnostic tools, so I'll catch up with you in the second video. You have a fit day.